I think I got a little dream, like I wanted to become a writer when I was very, very young, like 6, 7. But I couldn't become a writer any sooner because of the environment that I was in, because I was sort of growing up in the 70s in China, and it was Mao's regime, you know, and you could get yourself and your family into big trouble if you became a writer. So my entire family, my parents, my brother basically say, no way, you're not gonna be a writer, you know, you're gonna really harm our family. So for that reason, I couldn't become a writer. And then in 1986, when I came to Canada, it was a very free country. You can do whatever. Then I still didn't become a writer right away because I need to make a living, you know. I just remember Virginia Woolf said, you know, for a woman to become a writer, you need to have 500 pounds annual income and a room of her own. But everybody said it was a feministic sort of manifesto, but to me it's just a practical advice. I had to make a living first for myself and also for my family back home. So I couldn't become a writer right away. So I had to do 2 academic degrees, became a certified audiologist. Then I moved to Toronto, settled down, and then I started to think about becoming a writer. So when my first novel, it's called The Sisters from Shanghai, when that was published, I was 41 already, like it was a very late bloomer, you know. But when I first came to Canada, still there was a bit of shock, you know. Like in the academic system, when I did my degree in English literature, in China, the professors would feed you a lot of information. You basically learn from them. But in a North American system, I think pretty much in Europe as well, they encourage you to think independently. You had to have a lot of your own ideas, you know. And also, coming from China, I did not know much about the Bible. But the entire foundation of English literature is really Bible, biblical sort of background. I didn't have that. I really had to study very hard to catch up. Diaolo was built with the money the coolies sent home, because at that time, people, the family who had their men working overseas would bring money back home, so they would routinely be a little richer than their neighbors. Then the neighbors got very jealous, you know, and also Kaiping was a county that was very lowland, so every time it was a big rainstorm, the whole village will be drowned, you know. So that's why the coolies send money home to build the Diaolo tall, and so that their women and children will be safe from flooding, also from bandits, you know. Otherwise, people would come to rob them, to kidnap their children for a large amount of ransom. So if they build this Diaolo, then their family would be safe, so that nobody could come in to rob them, harm them. So it's really protect their children from harm of nature and harm of man. So I think in 2006, Diaolo, or the group of Diaolos in Kaiping, was chosen by United Nations as a heritage site. So now it has become a tourist sort of place, you know, and that's in Canton province, very close to Hong Kong. And I encourage all of you to go one day. Okay, when the first generation of the Chinese coolie coming to North America, they were really the gold miners, you know, gold rush. So they came to a very vast sort of Rocky Mountain wildland, and they did not have enough education to pronounce words like San Francisco, Vancouver, Victoria. They just didn't have the English. So in their letter back home, they would say, they knew there was a mountain, Rocky Mountain, and there was gold there. So they would say Gold Mountain. So I arrived in Gold Mountain, and I've found this job, so on and so forth. Then eventually, this word Gold Mountain started as a sort of a geological sort of geographical sort of term. Then eventually it became a symbol for for a dream of hope, of wealth, of prosperity. And those dreams were really never realized, you know.